guys, hope everyone's doing well. I literally just came back from like a sport related thing. No, it wasn't sport, it was open day at school, and I'm in a great mood. I don't know why, because I almost didn't get out of bed this morning. Maybe because it's my fifth Saturday working. Um, yeah, I had a huge debate with myself about that this morning. Okay. Yeah, it's just something about being a full-time teacher that I just didn't anticipate. I mean, I know that there are Saturdays where there's like sporting events and things, but it's something else when you're in it. And if I'm being honest, the whole time this is happening, all I can think of is I really miss having multiple streams of income. This year it is looking crazy because usually, last year I worked at an university in the morning, 3 days a week. Actually, last year it was 2 days a week, which was awesome because then I would have two classes in one day. I would go in for my afternoon shift at the school that I work full time for now. Last year I only worked for them from 1 to 3:30, and every day though, and during the holidays. Oh god. And then I had a few tutoring students on Saturdays. I also did a bunch of freelancing on the side, and yeah, basically. Oh, and I also did Take a Lot. So Take a Lot pays every Thursday. So like I was rolling in the dough. Okay. So I ended up spending a ton of that money into my studies. My studies was like a whopping 40,000 rand, which is a lot. And another thing about freelancing is that you never know where your next job is going to come from. I've decided to look for an actual remote job. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't know that they existed. And when I looked into it more, I found out that they are actually companies created for remote jobs for American companies, and they are looking specifically for South African talent. So it's South Africa and the Philippines. Philippines is a huge one. I mean, I knew about this since like 2020. During the pandemic, every time I kind of got a sneak peek or something like that, or a training into like basically digital marketing, the online course space, I found out that these business owners were exclusively using people from the Philippines to help them with their courses. That's, yeah. And then I watched this guy on YouTube who was just a YouTuber, and then he created an entire business, also recruiting people from the Philippines for rich Americans, basically. And this thing is good or bad. I mean, it's good in the sense that you get paid a lot more for the exact same job here in South Africa, but it's also bad in the sense that we are also considered like cheap labor. However, there are some positions that are like director or specialist or things like that, and I feel like the salaries are fair or even competitive with South Africa's. So it depends on which industry you're in. So the more I looked into this, the more I also realized that there are actually a lot of entry level jobs that don't require any qualifications. So when I was doing freelancing, occasionally I would get hired by a company or by a founder or whatnot, and then they would keep me much longer than what they had anticipated. Mainly because I learn apps quite fast. Um, I'm dependable, and I think that I spent a lot of time looking at how online businesses are created and maintained, which means that I'm already familiar with the things that they are using. I know how their things work. Through Upwork and Fiverr, I think I've been hired and retained maybe 5 times. So I know what remote work can do. Like it can change your entire life. Suddenly you have all this money to pay for things that you didn't plan on. So when I had free time, I came up with this idea of gathering all the remote recruitment companies, basically, that specifically look for South African talent because I didn't know they existed. And they offer real jobs, full time and part time jobs. And any South African basically can apply to them. Again, the ones that are entry level are the ones that don't need qualifications. I've seen maybe once or twice where they say that a high school diploma, which to us is a matric certificate, is required. But I think it's like nice to have sort of a thing. So if you don't have qualifications, or if you have like at least computer skills, then you need to look for administrative assistant jobs. Like I even saw one that says Airbnb virtual assistant. I mean, if you know anything about the Airbnb space, that would be, you'd be like the front runner for that one. This week somewhere I saw something about online task assistant. I mean, how entry level can it get? How more entry level can it get? So for this video, I'm gonna run you through a few ones that I feel like anyone can get and anyone can apply to in order for you to make that extra money. Bear in mind that the ones that are UK based, they need you to be available throughout the day. And then the ones that are US based, it depends on the time zone, but you can actually do that if you're a teacher. So, for example, I work from 7 to 2. I can start a brand new job from 4 to 9 or 10, especially if it's part time. And you can make an extra 10 to 15K depending on the job. I saw some that were 2 hours a day. I mean, it depends on the recruitment agency, it depends on the company doing the recruitment. And it took me forever to find these specific companies. And so the list that I made, I'm selling that on my online shop. You can check out the link in my bio or the link in the description to get the list. And it's only being priced because it took all of my free time. Because when I made this available on TikTok, someone was like, why am I paying for a link? And I'm just like, why might you get everything for free? Because this took a personal sacrifice. I could have been doing something else that was income generating, but this was income generating for me and it can be income generating for anyone. That's why I'm sharing the list, and that's why the list has a price on it. And honestly, people who think that they are paying for a link have no idea how the digital marketing space works, because I've paid for links, I've paid for memberships, I've paid for guides that tell me something I already know. But it depends on that person's sales technique to get you to think that that product is what you need the most. And I know that this product is valuable. That's why there's a price on it. But anyway, so on the list, there's actually 26 companies. I'm actually thinking that for people who buy it, I'm gonna give them basically lifetime access to my growing list. So for this particular product, there are 26 companies on there, but whoever buys it, I'm gonna put them on a list for the basically live document that I'm gonna place on Google Drive, so that when I add new companies, you are basically the first one to see them. So I'm still gonna decide on the schedule. Maybe I'll update it monthly. As things come up, because I need to vet that company. I need to check that it actually works. I need to check that they actually hire South Africans, etc. And again, that's my own time, but that's why it's valuable. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let me not waste more time. I'm gonna show you exactly what the requirements are for these jobs, how you can apply, how you can make it easier for yourself to apply, because it's a lot, and the job hunting activity, it's not fun. So you need to make it easier on yourself so that you don't burn out, and that you also increase your chances, because there's a lot of people with general skills that are applying to these very specific job posts. So you need to find a way to stand out so that they can consider you above the pack or above the noise, basically. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this product. Let me know how I can improve it. I'm definitely open to suggestions. And I'm also going to bring you along my journey once I figure out my hours. So, for example, I believe this is like the last Saturday in a while that I'll be working. So, I definitely am going to be open from now on. And I have a 3-week holiday coming up. So, I definitely have more free time now. So, I'm going to bring you guys along my journey of remote work as well. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
All right, let's do this. So, I think let's start with my product. So, I'm not going to show you the all the names because it's a paid product in my shop. But I want to show you that it does have the 25 remote job sites listed on it. I even put in some details of things that you need to be aware of each site, because each one is set up differently, but for the most part, they look for South Africans. There are some who are exclusively looking for South Africans, and then there are some who are looking for South Africans, people in Colombia, people in Philippines, all of the above. So basically, when you buy it, this is what you'll get. Then the first company that I'm sharing is Remote Recruitment. I like them the most because they are, in my opinion, the most respectful towards South Africans, and they are super lively on TikTok. You need to follow them. So, and they are the most responsive, I think. So they also have a podcast, I guess. I've never listened to it. Um, but apparently, this will tell you about other South Africans who have landed a job through them, and they share their tips and tricks on there as well. So this is like, I feel like they want you to succeed. As you can see, these were posted 3 days ago, which means that they were posted on Friday. And they post the most. So Friday, these were posted. Then Thursday, 5 days ago, Wednesday. So they post like throughout the week, and they post more than there's one other that posts more than them, but they post like quite a lot of jobs. If you don't qualify for the ones that require like a qualification and stuff, you must just scroll down up until you see something like assistant or something like that, because those would be entry level. Accounts clerk, I feel like might need a qualification. Here's something that anyone can do: remote office support, marketing assistant, online task assistant. I spoke about this recently on my TikTok. This one you just have to just show up, and anyone can get that. And then they do have specialists and sales development representative jobs and things like that. But they do have quite a lot of entry level jobs that you can apply for. Then the second one I want to show you is Somewhere. I love this one, and I'm not that crazy about their job board. You can't filter. That's probably what I don't like about it, but you can search. So this one has Latin America, it has the Philippines. The Philippines, in my opinion, get the most jobs. And then it has South Africa. It will occasionally have something in the United States, but not that much. All right, so you are only going to filter for South Africa only. Actually, let me try and use their search bar. I've never used it. Oh, I have used it, but can't remember. Okay, so maybe when you come here, just filter for South Africa. The reason why I don't do that often is because sometimes it'll just say remote and not even say remote South Africa here. Maybe they are trying to get them to do that, but sometimes it doesn't. So let's see. Here you must also, if you don't have any qualifications, look for like low barrier to entry jobs. This one requires sales. This one also requires sales. Financial, that requires a qualification. Sales, leasing administrator, I feel like that might be entry level. They might teach you maybe how you can do it. Account executive, I feel like the name might make you like kind of like intimidated, but you should totally check it out. E-commerce marketplace manager for Amazon and Walmart. If you've ever tried to sell a product on Amazon, you qualify for this one. You must just know how things work. And then here it's executive assistant with finance background. So you must have some sort of a financial qualification to do that one, but it's still executive assistant. So yeah, anyone can do it. So let's quickly look at this one. AA for US-based company, support, detail-orientated, blah, blah, blah. They want at least 2 years of experience, proficiency in these things, strong attention to detail. So you'll basically be doing the ordinary stuff, managing calendars and things like that. So anyone can apply for this one. They pay really well. So 1,000 rand, $1,000, that's like between 18,000 and just over 30 maybe, because 2,000 will then be 36, so just over 30. So depending on your experience, and you get paid twice monthly, and the client has a desire for long-term commitment, which means that if you do really well in this, they'll pay you more and keep you on for longer. Let's take a look at this operations assistant. So it's looking for South African citizens. These are your working hours. You can just look up what time this is in South African time. And this one, it pays a bit more. So between $1,700 to $2,000. They are looking for operation assistant for daily business operations, basically admin tasks. They want you to do content creation. So you need some experience in that. Proficiency in Notion. Notion, like it depends on the business owner. Like a lot of young founders are using Notion. So yeah, that's essential. You see, they even mention it here. Coordinate with internal and external contributors. Basically, you must be a good communicator, track progress, and flag issues to head of operations. So you'll be working with an executive, and you must be able to do research and ad hoc tasks. And then there's a sales center representative. I'm assuming this is like a call center representative. This one starts at $1,200 to $1,700. They use Mountain Time. Check if that will work for your hours. Um, Sales presentation, introduce and explain the company's cleaning and washing service packages to potential customers. So basically, you'll be selling and you do appointment booking, customer engagement. You must have some sort of experience in sales to do this. There's a company called Growth Troops. They are not on my list yet, but they do offer remote online jobs as well for much cheaper, which I think is an insult. This one in particular is a full time job, but it only pays up to $800 a month. That's like crazy. And they have a bunch of roles available, also focusing on like South Africa. And most of them is like super, super low entry. Unfortunately, with this one, um, they have like a really weird system on their site, but I'm still vetting them. That's why they are not on my list yet. But I did look at them today. So these things are everywhere, guys. All we have to do is apply. They are looking for us. Yeah, so basically that's what I wanted to show you. If you have questions, let me know in the description down below. And if you're interested in getting the list of 25 international remote job sites, I'm also going to list that down below. I would really love it if you guys would check it out. A lot of people think it's expensive, but it is not if you want to look at the value that it brings. And for the people who buy it, I'm actually thinking of adding a live link so that you can see every time I update it with new jobs or new sites that I've vetted basically. So yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.